while we wait for people to join up. All right. Just to tell you what the gear is about today. We've got the a new soap that I've never tried out yet, Master Soap Creations, and this one's called, and it's getting pretty good review. Fine aluminum slanter. This is an expensive slant. So interesting to see how it goes. It's aluminum, so it's super light. We're going to be putting a pole silver blade in there with just 6 uses, so that should be a good time. And then the brush we're going to use is soaking. And this is the, what does it say? Yeah, it says Come On and Deluxe 77-4. You can see how it's a 2-band Badgr. It looks like a 2-band Badgr. And I've had him soaking now for about 15 or 20 minutes. And, oh, interesting. Hey, if I am kind of, I turned my Wi-Fi off. My Wi-Fi is crappy here at this location, but I think it's what I had to turn on last time to get everything to work. It's kind of weird. But now I turned it off. We got my phone going. My phone is now what's transmitting. So Refined Edge, let me know if it still keeps freezing. I can try to connect back to the Wi-Fi and see what we can do. Just let me know in the chat. The Heritage Collection brush and the Fine Slant razor are loaners from the wonderful Michael Freedberg, very generous, and he's let me try that out. The main thing he sent me to try out is this wonderful injector right here, but I didn't want the first use of this one to be one where I was shaving off 3 days of growth, and that's kind of what I'm doing today. And so this one will be for another day. There's my live shave there on the Hey, Jay is here. Michael has joined us. Welcome. Yeah, who's this Freedberg guy? You know, I don't really know. He apparently likes to use old-fashioned gear and try to shave on a regular basis, and then he actually puts the videos online, right? As if anybody would want to watch those. All right. Very good, very good. All right, let me get my blade in the razor. I'm going to use a pole silver. It's got about 6 uses on it. Hey now. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. I saw the extra stainless across the bottom, and I thought that was where the super iridium used to be, but it's not. The super iridium is up on the top part. All right, so this razor, I have always enjoyed a lot of the fine products. I um, I really like the Fine World's Finest stainless steel razor that he put out. Nice medium aggression, smooth, pretty smooth, good build quality. It's a little overpriced, and so I'm happy that I bought mine used. Um, this guy is like $100 or more, and I mean the build quality looks good. But I tell you what, you notice the first thing right away is the weight. It's just so light. It's aluminum. Now, there are people who go corrosion crazy, and the only razors they ever want to buy are the aluminum ones because they're the only ones that will never rust no matter what. The stainless steel ones can rust eventually, but I'm not that crazy. I'm crazy, but I'm not that crazy. And so it almost feels cheap because it's so light. And I guess you could bend it if you worked really hard, right? So this will be fun to try this guy out. I'm not a slant expert, Now, Michael, what were you meaning by 600? Or you talking about the number of people? My live shaves so often have to be done at the spur of the moment, um, that I usually don't get too many live people online. So here's you can see by the arrangement here that we don't have a lot of support close to the edge. All this support is right here in the middle, and kind of like the DE89 type razors. But guy is going to have more support by its nature of it being a slant. It's going to put that torsion on the blade and probably have a reduced amount of chatter compared to some other razors that look like that, like this. Oh, let me make sure I get the little nylon washer. Wonderful to try this thing out. The Badgr that kind of looks like this one, the Badgr slant, V3 slant, whatever they call it, is a very smooth slant, almost too smooth. Like I feel like I'm moving a dowel across my face, and it just somewhere in there it has a blade, and it does a great job cutting, and it's super smooth, but it's almost clinically so, right? Oh yeah, right. Michael clarified the number of shaves on the blade, 600. Yes, yes. My acid is still at 450. One of these days I'll put another 10 on it. All right, so we've got the pole silver in there. Let's take a look at that exposure. Wow, it is really hidden behind. Now, in certain areas, it definitely has a positive exposure. When you're over here near the dip down, it has more exposure than over here. All right, we'll carefully put that aside. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Hey, Walden. Yeah, Badgr is on sale. Oh, you know what else is on sale? They were doing the balms and the stuff for Diamond from Barrister and Man. If I didn't already have a huge collection of the Diamond scent, because I'm a big fan of that one, I would be taking advantage of that. Okay, Mike says that the he thinks this razor is even smoother. Yeah, $9. I mean, come on, um, $9 for a razor head. Very cool. And of course, this one has got the benefit over the Badgr head with being a more premium ingredients. Badgr one's pot metal, so if you don't take care of it too well, in a year and a half it could break. But if you take care of it really well, it could go for several years. All right, get my face wet now. Like I said, shaving off about 3 days of growth. And so I did not want the the supply, the supply single edge injector to have to do that task. I figured the efficiency, often with the slants, will be easily able to take care of that. The pole silver is often a very good blade for me, cutting very well. All right. So I haven't tried the Master Soap Creations yet. Another viewer, Alex, he sent me the Master Soap Creations. Very kind of him. And I also have from him the Splash. This one's called Most Wanted. I haven't tried this brand before at all. And yeah, they haven't spent a lot of budget on the graphics with this one, with this company. But to be honest with you, if it's a performing soap that works really well and it's cheap, then I don't really care too much about that. It looks like a lot of soaps out there. The first things when I smelled it I did not look up the scent. I just smelled it. Did a blind kind of smell, and I definitely noticed something fruity. I may have even said red fruit. I definitely noticed something fruity, and then some spices there. Well, there is some apple in there, and that may have been kind of the lead in what I was picking up. It's designed to mimic Azzaro Wanted. It's designed to be a dupe of that cologne. It's designed to be bold and fresh, is their intention. And it's got a good list of ingredients: lemon, ginger, lavender, mint, spicy juniper, apple. Guatemalan cardamom. I know that's a scent that I enjoy in a lot of soaps. Geranium. And then the base notes, that list that we probably don't smell too much of. Tonka bean, amberwood, and Haitian vetiver. The apple, it is mixed with like the cardamom, maybe a little bit of the juniper, lavender. I don't pick up any ginger. Maybe a hint of lemon, but it's kind of sweetened out by all those. It's not a very sharp. There's nothing sharp and hard hitting in this scent. There's nothing zesty in it. I like it. It's a kind of a smoother type scent with the spices mixed in as well. I'm not really picking up too much of the tonka bean or the vetiver. Maybe a hint of amber, but really it's very minimal. Nothing floral in it. That geranium is not coming across as anything floral. And I'm happy to say the mint is not rearing its head in a big way at all. Now, here we are with a new soap, and I want to give it a fair shake. We got a lot of live people. We got 8 live people on right now. That's a host of people. And what if I load the wrong amount of time and I don't, because it's sat around for a few months maybe in a warehouse, a little bit of firmness could be developing on the soap, and so it could take a minute of loading to get the soap needed. Where if you use it a few days in a row, it only takes 20 seconds or 15 seconds, right? That's one thing you can do. However, you can also skip to the front of the line with a scoop, and that's what I'm going to do today for the first time, is just scoop it and get maybe a little bit more than a quarter teaspoon is my plan. This metal kind of scoop that has thin walls will also tell you about the consistency of the soap, and it's kind of firm, easily pressed though. It's not hard at all. So we've got a little bit of a heaping. Okay, that's a little too heaping, right? There we go. We reduced some of the heaping, and so that'll let us compare this soap and how much soap is needed per shave with a lot of the other ones, because a quarter teaspoon is a very nice value. This one is a tallow soap. Now, that is an interesting point. It reminds me of something. I was reading the ingredients, and some of the ingredients didn't seem to be in the same order as, and so I don't know if South America has the same rules that we do in America. South Africa, that we do in America about putting the ingredients in the right order. I could be wrong about that. First ingredients, triple pressed stearic acid. Tallow is the second ingredient. Coconut oil. Now, some people contest and they don't like coconut oil soaps. Castor oil, avocado oil, shea butter, purified aqua, bentonite clay, glycerin. Now, so far, we really have a very manageable list of ingredients, right? There's no, chemically sounding big words and things like that. Sodium lactate is next. Pure essential oils, fragrance oils, potassium hydroxide, and sodium hydroxide. So it looks like it has a pretty clean bill of health in terms of the ingredients. It's not a super strong type scent. I'm going to bet that when we lather it up, it's not going to be something that's going to bowl me over with its strength. Michael, I thank you so much for the warning and the admonishment to be careful not to use too much soap, because I don't have that much left. And this is easy to press around. We just answered a question online the other day about a guy who was having the little chunks break loose and float around in his bowl as he was working up his lather. And then he'd be at the end of his shave, and he would have wished to have that soap in his lather, but it would be just kind of still around in his bowl. And so everybody jumped in and told him the secret. You just do like I am, and you press it down. You don't have any little pinnacles or little parts sticking up. You just press it down into a thin layer, and that way it'll just gradually be picked up by the brush and integrated into the lather without breaking loose. This is very easy to press around. It's not a super firm soap. I hadn't even heard about this until Alex sent it to me. So I have been chomping at the bit to give it a shot. He sent it to me kind of in the midst of me doing, because of my COVID nose, doing the soap bases that don't get a lot of use because their scent isn't spectacular. And so I used my COVID nose period to try those out. Now I'm shaking out most of the water. If you want to do a shortcut, you can leave some water in there and maybe you don't have to add as much water later. All right. So that is a little bit more than a quarter teaspoon of soap spread around in the bowl. I'm also wearing my Captain Kirk shirt. I wore this one time, and a few people jumped online and did some Star Trek jokes. It's not official at all. I think it's like a Nautica shirt. See, it's got like an Indian or something right there. I do have a tilted. I can't actually hit the ceiling right there because this the roof here is tilted. I'm up in the second floor, so I can feel right now the backbone of this very dense Badgr brush. I did do a sample lather with it. I believe it's going to be a brush that might be a little too dense, a little too stiff for my own personal tastes. But one of the great things that I am enjoying because of Michael's generosity, he sent me this brush. He also sent me, and this is the one that I was especially looking forward to try, the boar brush. And this is that gel experiment that the Heritage Collection guy did. Looking forward to trying that brush. We'll do another live shave and do that one. But these handles online, they kind of look small. And that's because right up here, it's really kind of thick. But they are really ergonomic and they're not small. And so that has taught me that if I find one of these brushes online that has a knot that I want, I do not have any qualms about picking up that handle. And it's feeling really nice in my hand. My fingers are falling in the right places. KG, about coconut oil, I think some people like their lather to have a lot of to have less structure, kind of like the milk steak and some of those bases where they are kind of low lying, and they have a lot of moisturizing qualities. Coconut oil is a popular ingredient in a lot of soap bases, but they also tend to be the kind of soap bases that that have a lot of structure and kind of almost dryness appearance to them. I definitely have experienced soaps that had coconut oil very high in the list, didn't have quite as luxurious of a lather that I just really was drawn to. Ah, very good. Walden chimed in about that as well. Makes a bubbly leather. And he said, he also noted that it can be drying. Yeah, and it can be very slick. It can do the job very well. And Michael also says the same thing. If they mix up too much coconut oil in the soap, then it can be a very drying soap. Okay. No blooming. Of course not. We don't bloom soaps. Now let's look at the texture of this. It's we don't have too many micro bubbles. We can see ridges and stuff. The lather is not really to a liquid state at this point. And I have found that a lot of the bases that have a lot of coconut oil, you don't want to take them quite as hydrated as some of the other soaps. They end up kind of losing their slickness if you get them really wet. Just don't hold on to it as well. I'm not looking at a ton of lather here, so that tells me that um, this soap base might be one where you have to use a little bit more than average soap. Um, I'll bet this is going to be plenty to do the job, but Honestly, it looks like a rounded quarter teaspoon might be necessary on this one. So what I'm going to do is get my fingers wet a little bit. Ah, okay. Michael also said that the this brush is very dense and might be a little more dense than he likes as well. Oh, guys, there is a nice creaminess right here. It's got a luxurious feel. I did not see that coming. I've seen this look in a lot of soaps with the coconut oil in them. You know what he did? He mitigated the coconut oil with those other butters that I was talking about, with the castor oil, the avocado oil, the shea butter. And so it looks like um, this is nice. This is nice. This also tells me I can keep adding water. This is a good feeling lather. I am surprised. I didn't see that coming. And so we're going to add a little bit more water. I have not really added very much water to this yet. I also like the less dense knots. Oh, hey, we're talking about knots. Oh, I can't reach it very easily. If Michael Freedberg has a wonderful 4-part tutorial that I have recommended to people probably 1,000 times, and without reservation. It helped me a lot in the beginning. Oh, guys, this has gotten a creamy kind of sheen to it now. It just changed from the appearance of kind of your typical coconut oil soap, like maybe Strop Shop, um, Black Ship Grooming. You know, some of those that pattern that was just very popular a few years ago, and there are some still going around, and that's because the soap works. It's slick. It does the job. But this is something entirely different. It looked like that as I was building the lather up, and then as I kept going with the water, the creamy feel told me I could keep going with the water. It just transformed. And look at that. Look at that hydration, creaminess. I can still feel the bristles, the backbone here. I can feel it resisting me as I'm moving the brush around in the bowl. So this is going to be a high backbone knot, it seems. It looks like it disconnected the chat. We'll see if it joins it back up again. So if I don't respond to any questions, it's because the last one I see is Michael saying 8K, nobody wants that. Oh man, and when pressing this lather in, I can feel the cushion. Man, I thought I had seen very positive impressions online of this soap base, and I'm starting to see why. Adding water to it, and all of a sudden some magic happened, and it transformed. Here, let me type something in the chat. I wonder if that might um, connect me somehow. I don't know. All right. Oh, you know what? I might refresh that page in just a second. Oh, there you are. I saw Vespers came back on. Um, Vespers is one that I did get a sample of maybe 2 years ago. Uh, and it had some spices that just wasn't quite me. A lot of guys really like it, but there's some kind of spice. I don't know if it's uh, clove or something. There's just a spice in there that is not my taste, and so I'm not a Vespers guy. I'm going to reload my Chromebook here and maybe I can catch up with the chats. On the phone, they go by too quickly. All right, so we keep adding water. They go by too quickly. All right, so keep adding water. I don't need to hear myself. I just need to see some chat. Now I've got to scroll up and pause myself. Okay, there we go. Very good. All right, now I see KG. Oh, wait. I cannot wait until someday I am at a place with a more reliable internet. All right. Very good. So I can feel. I mean, look, we don't have. Sometimes those coconut oil soaps that aren't doing like this one does and balancing it out with some cool oil type products. You'll see. You won't see a creamy look to it. It'll almost look dry and brittle. But this does not look like that at all. It looks rich. It looks decadent. There we go. I'll bet that's a good play. And see now we can see that that this guy is making tons of lather. I just hadn't added enough water yet. I feel sorry for people who stop earlier, and I bet they're just not greeted with as wonderful of a lather as I'm getting right now. All right, I'm gonna get my face wet. And we'll see now that we've got lathered up here. Wonder if we have different parts of the scent coming out yet. It's not strong. Thank you, Walden. I did have a pretty good Thanksgiving. Hung out with my parents and my sister and her family. Took the kids down to see the grandparents down in South Kakalaki. This is very low strength. Don't get this one if you like the strength of Southern Witchcrafts or something like that. It just doesn't quite compare. They call it a bold and fresh scent. That's the terminology that they're using for this clone of Azzaro Wanted. And I would not really call it a bold scent because it's kind of muted in strength. Nor would I really call it fresh. I'm starting to pick up that vetiver in the background. That's coming out a little bit more. Oh, and a little bit of that twang from the juniper. And maybe a touch of mint. I'm still glad that's very tiny. Yeah, man, I bet it will. I bet the Slant is just not going to have a problem at all. All right, so we do have a slight sheen on the lather here. It's always nice when you get the magic soaps that give you a sheen once you finally get enough water into them, right? That just it's a random thing. You can't have that as a standard for all soaps because they're not configured to be that way. All right, we'll see what happens here. See what kind of tips we get. Kind of tip feel. See what kind of it's very stiff. The it kind of almost reminds me of the Samog finest badger. That guy is the stiffest finest badger I've ever used. I tried to use him like 3 times and I had to send him back. I had to sell him. It's not being a very good display brush right now. Wow, this is very stiff. The tips are definitely not treated. Had a nice long soak prior to the shave. They're not. They're almost kind of scratchy. Um, I don't think I would want to use this brush with a razor that was that had some aggression to it, that had a tendency to kind of wear on my skin a little bit. Now, of course, if you do the painting strokes, you don't get that scratchy feel. You know what? IMSMS sent me a message, and he had this great idea to do a live chat um, on like the Black Friday weekend. Yeah, it did not like display for Michael either. It's not. And IMSMS had this great idea about doing a live one and then just going through some of the sales, and talking about them and answering people's questions, or what do you like about them, that kind of thing. Unfortunately, unfortunately for that idea, I was spending the weekend with my family, and so it would have been kind of conspicuous. Now, just now, I got a feel of a cooling thing. So there might be some of that mint, and juniper has a little bit of almost a cooling flavor hint to it as well. And I am kind of feeling that just a little bit. It's not enough to bother me. I don't like menthol in my soaps. So the tips are really going to give you a workout with this brush. They are maybe the firmest tips I've really felt in a long time. Wow, that's that's a scrubby brush. This is one where you want to obliterate the soap. If you're an overloader, you want to get this in there, and it'll just destroy a soap in a matter of weeks, right? Um, and I bet this soap could even use a little bit more water, but I think we're fine. It almost feels like a broom. It almost feels like a straw, a one of those stiff whisk broom kind of handheld whisk broom kind of things. It very a lot of feel, a lot of feel to the tips. Yeah. So I think I'm going to need to take some care with my shaving today, um, so that I don't get a lot of brush burn. We'll just see what happens. The brush burn, we don't want it to combine with some razor burn and have that perfect burn storm. We don't want that. Okay. Yes. And Michael points out a better for painting, not. Yes. Exactly. Exactly. All right. So the fine accoutrements, light as a feather. So in holding it right now, this is a handle design he's used. He's carried it over from the fine aluminum slant into the Marvel razor as well. So they definitely kind of look like each other. This soap had a little bit of that creaminess that was dripping down from the brush onto the brush handle, and it gave me a little bit of sense of be careful. So I'm gonna kind of get my hand some water here, and kind of give. I don't want to drop it, so I'm getting rid of the soap residue for this particular razor. You know what? Michael says he, knows people who loves their SHD knots, but you know what? This is actually worse than any of the other SHD knots. I have got the Maggard SHD. I've got the Umo SHD. Now the Umo is the nicest. It splays nice and easy. Now the Maggard, you know what I had to do on that knot? If it was mounted at kind of a default level, it was definitely too much backbone for me. But I raised it up as much as I could without having the glue bump, the glue disc to be displayed to the person holding the brush, and that let the bloom open up instead of the handle focusing it, and that made it an enjoyable brush. So I raised up the loft as high as it could go on that Maggard SHD. It worked pretty well. So there are a few SHD. Actually, I think all the SHD knots that I've had to play around with are a little nicer than this one. Woo! This knot, we'll have to ask Mr. Freedberg. He's tuning in. How many times did you use this Badgr knot, sir, before it made it to my hands? All right, while he's answering that, let's take this slant razor and yeah, Walden is mentioning that the fan and the bulb can be very different. And that is true. It's not tugging. That's pretty cool. Now it is aluminum. It's very light, and so there's going to be a natural need for me to kind of pull it through my hair instead of letting the weight of the razor be what pulls it down. So that's normal. It is sliding through this stubble without tugging. This is a wonderful combination of blade and razor. They're matching each other very well. If this does not seem to be 3 days of stubble, it is a great knocker downer. It is also giving me a little bit of blade feel, but it does feel you're not hearing too much. You're not hearing a crazy amount of blade chatter. I'm feeling a very controlled blade edge. I feel like I would have to make a mistake to have it give me some razor burn. Okay, Michael did not use that particular brush very much. Okay, he used it about 10 to 15 times. Yeah, a brush like this is going to relax a little bit if you use it a lot, but not a ton. You'll need to like this particular knot, you're going to need to like a high backbone brush. Yeah, KG, this was very satisfying as it worked its way through the stubble. So let's do a rinse. And the feel here during the rinses of this lather is spectacular. It feels creamy, luxurious, all those slick, all those wonderful lather words that we like to use so much. I'm going to add a little bit more water to this lather. So far I've added a little bit more than a quarter teaspoon of soap used and about 20 milliliters of water used, and that is kind of a standard amount for mini crops. Okay, Michael also felt that that head design generally had a nice safe feel when he was using it as well. Yeah, for me, not as smooth as the Badgr slant, but in a good way, not as smooth. Controlled edge. I feel like I'm shaving, but it wasn't hard to find the edge, that sort of thing. Man, I added that water, and the lather's gotten even better. Collapsing in on itself, moving with fluidity here. All right. If you have a brush that has more backbone than you might like, you can try to run your lather a little drier, and sometimes that will help the bristles to move around a little more. Definitely don't run the lather really wet on a high backbone, a high density brush that is kind of at your tolerance edge. Now I wonder, there are some brushes out there like some Simpsons where you want to soak that brush for maybe half an hour before using it, and it affects the tips. I may have soaked this one for about half an hour before I used it, so unfortunately that scratchiness did not go away. Oh, roger that, Walden. The Mammoth raffle is going on, guys. Feel free to go check that out. If you want to, if you need to see if you won something like that, great cause there. All right, so second pass, cross grain. Now, this did a great efficient job at mowing the hair down. So now we're going to experience how it might behave in more normal circumstances where you're dealing with just one day of growth. I am feeling a little bit of the edge, but it's a very stable, solid feel. It is letting me in a very natural way, a very intuitive way, be able to have the right angle. I'm not definitely not having to do something weird like ride the cap. It's still a light aluminum razor, so I still am having to pull it through the hair to some degree. Yeah, I'm still night owling it. I try not to. I do so much better when I just get to the end of the day and I still have so much stuff to stack in my day, and I just need to get better by giving up and just going to sleep and doing stuff in the morning, and I just have better days. But yeah, often I'm still up at 1 or 2 a. Oh, now right there, I had a little lapse in technique. I did not have my skin um, properly stretched, taut. Not only not by my hands, but my chin could have been a little higher, and I felt a tiny, tiny little twinge. And so we may see a weeper there, but it's a tiny, tiny twinge. It's not really a bother at all. But it's just proof that you are dealing with some exposure here, and the pole silver is a sharp blade, and so you should respect it and be careful. And I think as long as I am respecting it, it's been under a nice amount of control. But as we remove more hair, and the hair is there, um, the hair in the beginning was there to hold back the blade from touching the skin quite as much. As that goes away, we're getting more skin contact. There could be more potential for some a negative type of contact. So we'll just have to be mindful of our technique. Are we good? Yeah. Rinse now. Man, this is a nice soap base. The creaminess, the slickness. This is a really good soap base. And by using the measuring spoon, I now know that that quarter teaspoon of soap is giving me much more lather than I need for one shave. And so I could back off from the quarter teaspoon a little bit and still have plenty of lather. So that puts it in a nice place with a lot of other economical soaps that still perform really well, like Sterling, those kind of things. Yes. See, Michael is tracking with me as well. And now we got a third pass going on. Light touch, very light touch. Jay says he saw Rex put out a slant. Oh, yeah. uh, yeah, he doesn't know how anybody can spend 350 on a razor. And I get where you're coming from. Um, and I definitely don't see spending 300. I had a Rex Ambassador for a little while. It didn't feel as good as this thing. It was tenuous. It didn't have a good grip on the blade right up close to the edge. And so it had more blade chatter. It didn't have a consistent edge like this one is. This edge is under control. And so if you don't want to cut yourself, you're not going to cut yourself as long as you've got some decent technique. But it's a firm edge as it's moving across your face. And that's the opposite feel than the Rex Ambassador. I turned it down to 1 and 2, and it was still didn't have kind of that smooth experience. So for me to pay $300 for that kind of razor, no way, because that's just not a match for me. But there are a lot of people who are happy out there with their Rex Ambassador. All right, so yep, we got. Oh, let's take my skin here is holding in that lather. The we've got a nice secondary slickness here as a result of that lather. You can feel it. This is just a very very nice soap base. Um, the scent here is not playing too much of a role. That might be the only thing I can fault this soap with, is just the scent is just not going to blow you over, and in some cases it might be a little bit hard to discern during your shave. It's very light. But that's also good for you guys who might be might have a reaction to fragrance oils, things like that. A lighter scent is not going to cause as much of a reaction. All right, very good. Now, put on the third pass of lather. See, yeah, Michael, exactly. I am much more in the camp of control that edge than try to buy an aggressive razor. I'm the same way. This is definitely a solid ball of hair. Well, unfortunately, the brush a little too stiff for me. But what I learned, what I'm taking away from this loan from Mr. Freedberg, is this handle works well in my hands. I like the design. I like the looks of it. Got a classic look. Of course, he was reviving an old brand, but the handle design works well. This particular Badgr not too stiff for me. I bet when I get around to using this boar brush, I bet I'm really going to enjoy that, both the handle and the feel of the knot. Looking forward to that. Okay. See, Kenneth Davis has joined in, and he's got a Rex, and he loves it. See, you got different strokes for different folks. The some people do go for that audio. Sometimes people use that to tell if they've got their angle right, things like that. I just like a smoother edge, and so fortunately, we've got razors for everybody in this hobby. All right. I don't have any kind of drying effect at all going on with the skin. It feels nourished. It really does. We've got some good skin ingredients in here, but as we can see, they were not getting in the way of a good lather performance. The slickness here, top notch, top notch. Really happy with that. So Alex, I don't think you're online. I bet you would have said hi if you were, but hopefully you catch this video. And man, this MSC, thank you so much. It was a generous donation by him, and I will definitely be looking forward to bringing more of this soap base to the channel so that people can. I know that I think Pasteurs and some other vendors out there had MSC, and so obviously it is a soap that's come to the attention of other people. I haven't discovered some kind of diamond that nobody else knows about. I think I'm just late to the party, perhaps. And especially once I leave my cheek area here, I'm going to start watching that pressure, keep that light touch. It's done such a great job cutting on pass 1 and 2 that I've had some strokes here where I'm thinking that I'm not cutting anything. And so I'm thinking my angle is wrong. But I tell you, it may be that it's just the fact that there's no stubble there to cut anymore. Right? All right, here we go. This is the care here, and so I'm actually gonna almost do another with the grain pass in general. Just take it nice and short strokes, low pressure. It is such a light razor, you are going to have to provide your own pressure. You can't let the weight of the razor do the work here because there's just no weight there. So I'm just going to take it nice and slow so that if I do happen to have an angle that's wrong, I'll pick up on it quicker with these shorter strokes. Well, I'll tell you what, I have really enjoyed this slant today. This is the first impression. It right here, when I just did that stroke, this is where I get problems if I am using a razor that's kind of on the edge for me in terms of aggression. And so it's not really surprising that this razor would do that. Now, the negative of having a razor that's that aggressive is I often start to back off on my technique. I have to back off on my pressure so much that I end up with some stubble here that's not cut as good as it could have been because of just the harsh nature of the razor. So that's something we'll check at the end of the shave. Rex also has the Envoy. And I think if you like your Rex at a setting 3, then the Envoy might be a good choice for you. I used my Rex for a little while and then I sold it. Um, they're trying to be, that design is patterned after the Gibbs adjustable razor, and the shape feels totally different than the Gibbs. The Gibbs is a smooth operator, even up to, you know, 75% of the aggression in the adjustable nature, all the way down to the mild, of course. It is smooth, and the Rex is not. Alum. You know what? It took me like 3 weeks in my beginning days to quit alum. I just don't need it. The cold water that I use to rinse with tells me how everything did. And if you are an alum user, just a PSA to make sure you rinse it off after a couple of minutes. It is a salt, and you don't want it to dry your skin off. If you do have dry skin, I recommend that you not use alum at all. Use something else like witch hazel or something like that. KG, I like the Pearl Flexi an infinite amount better than the Rex. For me, there is no competition at all. Here is the Pearl Flexi. It also is designed after the Gibbs, but to me, it is a more faithful design because it echoes the smoothness of the Gibbs, the easy, smooth cutting, but still very efficient. I get a great close shave all the way up and down with this this Pearl. So for me, the Pearl is light years ahead of the Rex because it just matches me a little better. Ah, yes, Kenneth, that Gibbs. They are on eBay, but I saw the prices jump. I think they've jumped $100 since maybe a year or two ago when I bought mine. And there are a couple of kinds of Gibbs. I bought one Gibbs 17 that had more the Rex feel to it, a little more aggression. But somebody, a wonderful kind shaver, maybe a year before that, had loaned me a Gibbs, and it was the other kind that was smoother. And so when I got that one and it was rough, I thought, well, this doesn't seem to be right. So when another one came on eBay for a good deal, I bought it, and sure enough, that one was like the one my friend loaned me. And so I was able to sell the one that was a little more rough. Ah, okay, okay. See, Michael likes to follow up the alum with some cold water. Yeah, I can see how that would be refreshing. All right. And I did this on purpose a little bit, talking to you guys with a little bit of soap remnants, because you know what? I want to see, do I get any kind of drying feeling? And no, I don't. This soap base, again, continues to shine. It's not drying my skin. I do have some tenderness over here during those little places where I was warning you about. But as you can see, we don't have any weepers or anything like that. So a good balm is going to take care of that in just a few minutes. So let me get a good rinse. Now, like the world's finest razor, and by the way, I hate that he does that. I mean, come on, don't add hype into your name, you know? Anyway, um, the world's finest to me is maybe $50 too expensive. Now, I get it if it costs that much to make it, but to me, it's comparable to other ones that are maybe $50 less than what he wants to charge for that world's finest razor. And so I think maybe this fine aluminum slant might be along in the same camp. Um, Surely aluminum is not as hard to mill and work as the other harder metals, right? I mean, but I don't know. I'm not a metallurgist or a machinist or anything like that. So I think I think I've seen other people review this razor and say that it works really well. And I'm definitely going to echo that. It sliced through those 3 days of growth easily, easily. And I've got a nice close shave. I'll check this spot over here in just a minute. But I think this is over $100, right? And that's where I have to pause. Um, and that's where I wonder if the price matches kind of what you're getting. I wonder if Mr. Fine kind of has his sights set a little too high. However, if you like aluminum razors and you want a firm edge that's got some aggression to it, this looks like a great razor to turn to. I enjoyed using it. Very cool. Jason, hey Jason. Jason ordered a 3 adjustable butterfly DE safety razor and 100 pack of Gillette Nassets and treat blades for Christmas. Yeah. Ah, nice. Nice. Very good. And rinsing, this is the way. Yeah, Treat often has a great deal on their blades. See, now Michael put it as he often does so well. It's expensive. We're going to shoot straight with you. It's expensive, but on the other hand, it really shaves well. All right, now for the proof in the pudding, does it have enough aggression to make me not be able to shave this comfortably? Let's check it out here. Ooh, yeah. There's too much stubble there. There's too much stubble there. It's a little too aggressive. So let's try a little touch up. I have. Oh, Jason, I'm really glad, man. Really glad to help. We've got maybe 3 more passes of lather. Look at that awesome lather. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Roll that beautiful lather footage. So we got plenty of lather for the job here. Maybe another 3 passes. Let us put a little water on this spot and we will dare to hit it again. This time I'll try to be a little bit more cognizant of my angles so that I can maybe cut without cut close to the hair without cutting the skin. So we'll come at it cross grain, but from the other side here. And I have to keep a really light touch with this. That's the only way. But otherwise, the Pole Silver has been a great match here. I could probably see this blade, this razor, working with blades that maybe had 30 uses on them, you know, a little better, at least in my case, with the comfort level I happen to like usually. All right, there we go. Let me splash that off. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I really enjoy the interaction. I know Michael probably feels the same way when he does his live shaves. And, you know, now he has to deal with throngs of people. I laughed that one time when you said that you were waiting for the throngs to arrive. Michael really pressed down hard this time. Oh, goodness. All right, so let's check it out. Oh man, 6 or 8 months it took before I was able to really get this area dialed in. That's better, but a milder razor will still get that area cut better for me. So, but I mean, it's a good shave. But I can't go against the grain right there. If I could, it would mow things down real easy. But there's so much aggression with this razor, I dare not go against the grain right there. It would pull skin up into the blade. I'd end up with cuts, that sort of thing. All right. Oh, hey, and I have the matching splash. Yes, thank you, Alex. What a generous gift. Because of his generosity, I have discovered just a spectacular soap base. This Master Soap Creations is a wonderful soap base. Buy with confidence, and I mean, to me, it's got that luxury while still being quite hydrated, and that's kind of near the top. And so, I mean, to me, if you're paying as much as you are with you know, Barrister and Man and Declaration Grooming and Noble Otter and you know, the Sterling and all that. If you're paying that same amount, then you're in the right ballpark with this particular soap base. I just watched yesterday. I watched A Christmas Story, so they did the whole triple dog dare. No, I'm not going to be licking the flagpole by pressing this razor down hard. I am feeling a little bit of it right now, but I'm sure it'll go away in maybe an hour or so. Let's see what kind of goodies he might have in his product here. Witch hazel is the first one, then rosewater, glycerin, polysorbate, pheno phenoxylethanol, essential oils, and fragrance oils. So I gave it a gentle shake, and I'm kind of glad there's not any alcohol in it because my little neck is going to be much happier with the witch hazel. Let's see what pieces of the scent accord are the most dominant now. See, Michael has a more average sized head. And so he can do that cool thing that he does where his whole hand covers his like whole face. I've got this disproportionately large head. And so I can't do that cool trick. Okay, the scent. Yeah. Some of those like amberwood. Um, I can tell the tonka a little bit more. The spiciness. Still, the mint is not. It's not jumping to the forefront at all. I'm happy about that. A little bit of the lavender. Still not picking up the ginger, and the lemon is not a very high note. It's not up in your face or anything like that. That citrus is kind of more. Oh no, okay. I picked up the lemon just now only because I was looking at it, looking for it. But it's a very sweet type of lemon, and it's not punchy at all. I really kind of like that. I think it melds with the woody notes that are otherwise part of this scent. I really like this scent. I think it's well done. Yeah, Michael, dude, I have great hands. And Michael says it's interesting how the balance of efficiency and comfort in the slants often leads to too close a shave. Truth. Truth. They are, well, I think it may be that a lot of the people are turning to slants when they need a firm edge, but they need more aggression. And so I think they're right to give them that. Um, now, the Fatip slants are the opposite end of the spectrum. They're not uncomfortable. They're not treating you rough. Matter of fact, you've got to work a little bit to get a good close shave, at least with me. Um, they're on the opposite end of the spectrum. So if you want to try out some slants, but you want some that are on the smooth end of the spectrum, then those Fatip slants might be a good thing to turn to. Oh, he said he had giant hands, not great hands. They're both wonderful compliments to give yourself. KG has not tried a slant yet, but he's been curious. One of these days. Hey, KG, maybe if you want to throw about $9 toward Maggard razors, they'll send you a slant head. I think it's on the Black Friday sale page. Um, another one. Here is a Merkur, and I believe this is before Merkur started making their razors out of the pot metal. So I think this is back when they were still high quality. Um, this is a slant that they had. Maybe it's a 37C. I can't remember exactly. And this shaves really well. So you can, there are all kinds of slants out there. I really enjoy the Maggard slant. It's very smooth and it cut very well. These are harder to find though. I did not enjoy the current version of the Merkur slant. I had a modern 37C. That wasn't a good match for me. Yes, we can't all buff like Michael. Ah, yeah, sure, sure. If you do get a hot spot, sometimes with that type of razor, but in terms of just taking down that dense growth, that slant is, and it showed it today. It did it. Now, with me, one of my favorite things to do is to take a tech or a very mild razor, a Wolfman Gorilla, some other really a mild setting on an adjustable razor, and throw a nice sharp blade in there, and I'll mow down 5 days of growth with that. And so I don't need to turn to a slant to take that down. So it's good that way too. Razor Rock Slant is one of my favorite razors. Okay, Akime, hey, welcome, man. I didn't see your name on the scroll yet. Welcome. And yeah, I've never tried their slant, the Razor Rock Slant. I remember reading really good things about it. Okay. Michael also is thinking that the modern 37C is not a good match for him. Oh, Talega's here as well. Very cool. Welcome. Okay. He says with his Maggard slant, he sometimes misses with the loading and it doesn't quite shave like he wants it to. And Fatipes can sometimes be that way. Um, Very good. I'm getting a nice scent here. The soap may not have provided too much of the scent cloud around me with this wonderful scent. It makes me think that Azaro Wanted might be a good cologne to get. But the splash, of course, is definitely designed to have that. The apple is there, but the spiciness controls it really well, and you don't end up thinking that it's too much of a gourmand type scent. The cardamom and the tonka, the amberwood, the vetiver, those are starting to be what you after all the other stuff is kind of burned off. That's that steady playing that I'll probably get to enjoy now for a while after at this point in the scent. Akime said he was lurking. Very cool. Oh, okay. The yeah, yeah, I'll hit you up. That Razor Rock, the Stealth, right? I've seen pictures of that. That's a funky looking head, isn't it? Doesn't it have some weird blockiness to it? Um, yeah, yeah. I'd love to try that guy out. Okay, tell me right now, Michael. Compare the Razor Rock Stealth slant with what you remember of the fine aluminum slant. That'd be cool. I am bringing up as you guys answer questions, perhaps. There'll be a steep deposit for getting that slant. All right, all right. I am looking up my purchases for Black Friday while we're here. Somebody asked, um, and what I have got coming in. Um, they had a sale. The Boti brush people, BOTI brush. It's on AliExpress. I'm really enjoying this scent here of the most wanted. Thank you, Alex. I'm really enjoying that. Um, the Boti brush handle is that it's that one. It's multi-layered and it's kind of wooden and it's not very expensive and just like $15. And you can tell them how tall you want it. They cut it on a lathe and stuff. How tall you want it, how wide you want the certain sections. I did that. It's like a custom handle for $15. And so I ordered another one of those. I do have a brush right now that has that handle, but I wanted to the little waist This brush will show us the little waist was too thin on the Bodhi brush handle that I call this a waist. I don't know if that's the official term. Um, and I ordered another one with a thicker waist to maybe help my hands to grip it a little better. Um, I I bought this cool little phone charger. That is a minimalistic thing. You take two AA batteries, and it's got magnets that stick on the end of the batteries, and then it's an emergency charger for your phone, just like 250. So I figured I'd try it out. Southern Witchcrafts, they came out with Labyrinth and something else, and I bought their soap samples. So I'm looking forward to trying the Labyrinth with the other Valley of Ashes, I think. Um, Looking forward to trying the Labyrinth. The description of that sounded really good. Um, I did get Grumatorium had some wonderful Black Friday stuff. I got one of their brush cases. Um, I decided to try the Jerris Musk aftershave lotion for just a few bucks. The Lustre Coachman. I decided to try that for a couple of bucks. Um, I see those in Beauty Supply, but the Grumatorium price was even lower than that, and so I figured, hey, why not? Um, I Just some small stuff. Oh, I did decide to try the Barrister and Man Fougere Aromatique EDT and the Fougere Imperial EDT. They were limited runs and they had that at a good steep discount. I decided to try that too. I don't know if I'm going to like them or not, but I'm going to try them out. I bought some of the coffee stuff from Sterling, a couple of the pour over things. A couple of the scents they were coming out with in this Black Friday. I often find a couple of real winners, like Detonate. Um, in past recent years, the Spice Bomb by Victor and Rolf clone, I really enjoyed that one. D503, and I really enjoy a lot of those. And this year was no exception. The Oro Valley sounded like a really cool scent that I would like. And the Fascali might end up to be like the Fresh Vetiver. I think it's patterned after Gray Vetiver from Tom Ford, and I know I like that scent. So I ordered the Fascali, if I'm pronouncing that right. The Smoky Grapefruit, that looks like that'll be interesting. That is a shave soap that I bought. That could be really cool. And I decided to try the Carmichael shave soap as well, a little bit on the classy side, perhaps, and just a few bucks for each one of those. So I'm looking forward to the Sterling order. Um, I also decided to try a Zenith Manchurian brush. I love the Zenith Boars. I'll try the Zenith Manchurian. On the Maggard sale, I just picked up odds and ends. I'm gonna try that commissary style for like $9. That commissary type shavette, um, and they had the Spanish version of Williams Aquavelva, and I'm not as much of a fan of the ice blue Aquavelva that's in the stores now, and I wonder if the Williams version, the Spanish version, might be truer to the older. Um, Scent profile, and so I bought some of that. I thought that was really interesting. Um, Bought some injector blades. I got some cool injector stuff um, that's going to be coming soon. I'm going to be able to use Michael's supply injector, and I have been gathering up injectors by the droves. I've shown them to you guys before. Let's do it again. We've got most of these are Schicks. Here, the tennis racket one, the Grip by Schick. The other novelty one is the stick shift, the Schick stick. And then these have letters. Oh, this is the dial adjustable Schick. And then we have the black handled, longer type handle. It's got a letter associated with it. And then we have the shorter black handle. And then these have Hydromagic versions, but they're a lot more expensive. It might take me a while to collect those, to wait for good deals. They have levers right here that open up the thing and let you rinse and clean your uh, blade a little better. And then this guy right here is a wonderful shaver, and he is found on eBay for so cheap. Sure, sometimes you'll see him for 25 bucks, but very often you'll see him in with a bunch of 8 other razors for 25 bucks too. And then finally, you know what? Also fits the injector blade. Here's an injector size blade. This, the Ender's Speed Razor. I've got an Ender's blade that I'm going to put in there, and I'm going to use that blade to hold the injector blade in there. I've been told it's a really great way to get a great injector shave, and I'm going to try it. I'm going to work on it. Yes, that firm edge there of the injector blades, just, yeah, no chatter. If you like smooth shaves, it is the way to go. I recently found out that the Ted Pellet injector blades are the same as the Persona. I bought some of the Gillette Lime shaving cream. I know that the Palmolive is a really good shaving cream. I haven't tried this Achilles Brito yet, but it's on the docket to try. And just for grins, I decided to try the Gillette. And every year I buy for $1 an Arco shaving soap stick. I never use it, but I always buy it. And something I've been part of the Wolfman WR2, the 75 gap, a very mild gap. I've never tried something that mild on the WR2, and due to the kindness of HD Shaves on YouTube as well, he is. I should get that in the next couple of days, and I'm really looking forward to trying that out. He's loaning that out, and as far as I know, he has loaned that out to several guys to kind of pass around and enjoy it. And that's so wonderful because when you have a chance, when your chance comes around to order, if you have put your name on the list for a Wolfman razor, well, you don't want to make a mistake and choose a number that's not going to work. And so this can really help people out quite a lot. And that I've taken and made some good purchases in the past with Black Friday, and so I was already kind of stocked up a lot with Black Friday stuff. There were a few things I could have bought. Okay, so now I'm getting back to the chat here. Okay, so Michael says the Fine, the razor I use today, is a refinement of the Stealth Slant, smoother overall. They're both derived from the Bakelite Slant. Sure. I see that. Definitely a resemblance on this one's part to that Bakelite Slant. Hakime says, have you tried the Barrister Man Leviathan or any of the new Omnibus soaps? No, I haven't. My inventory for Barrister and Man Scents is already full. I've got Leviathan in 2 bases, I think. I've got some of their soaps. I've got Diamond in 2 or 3 bases. Glissant and the PP8 Soft Heart, and anyway, and that's where it's taken me a while to get through those, but at some point he's going to offer or I'm going to see on the used market an Omnibus soap in a scent that I maybe don't have as many duplicates of, and I'm definitely gonna get it and try it. I definitely want to use that Omnibus to try that Omnibus soap base. I mean, Will made it and everybody's loving it, and so that's really all you need to know. You know that it's going to be good. The injector is just, yep, we already talked about that. 604 Raider. Okay, he bought the Arco and he hasn't dared touching it after smelling it. Ha ha. Hey man, listen, just set it out. After a few days, the smell will back off and you'll be all right. Just kind of open up the little thing, set it somewhere, forget about it for a few days, and you'll be all right. It's a good performer. It's not great. Okay. Michael has tried the lavanda. He likes that as a cream. Okay. When he got back into wet shaving, that was his first cream. Okay. Well, that's really cool. I'll look forward to that even more now. And 604 just got 2 Knightsbridge and 2 Razor Rock to try. and he'll check out the lavanda though. Very cool. All right, guys. The smell here is still hanging around as we've been talking after the shave. It is still very enjoyable. So it looks like the scent on the Splash product here has got nice strength on it. And so if you buy something that you enjoy smelling, that you'll be able to enjoy it for a nice good amount of time. Then that soap, an economical soap, it doesn't need a quarter of a teaspoon to give you plenty of lather. So the soap was a big plus today. Thank you, Alex. A wonderful, wonderful soap base. Very happy with that. The Master Soap Creations. The I discovered that the I loved and was enjoying the old kind of style and the size of this handle here on this brush, but I discovered that the brush is so dense. Woo! That is a scrubby, dense brush. It's made for other people, not I. I discovered that the fine aluminum slant just mowed through 3 days of growth without a single problem at all. And this was a loaded up with a pole silver super iridium blade, and they were a good match. If by the end of the shave, maybe a little too aggressive for me, so I could try something else if I wanted to. Yes, see, Michael is checking up on me. Yeah, it's all fine. It's all gone. No weepers. I don't think we could see. And that irritation, that little tiny bit of tenderness, healed up. So it just took a few minutes. And this is a witch hazel type aftershave product. And so I think it did a nice healing job. Very well. Very well. So I might pick, I don't think I'm going to be putting a feather blade in this razor anytime soon. I'll pick some of my other razors razor blades that have maybe 20 uses or something like that on them. It'll be interesting to see how they do in the fine aluminum slant. Michael, thank you again so much for giving me the opportunity to try this wonderful piece out. It's been a blessing. Kenneth, I appreciate the kind words. Thank you very much. Well, I've got over 1,000 videos. I think maybe the current count is like 12 or 1,300 videos out there. So there's plenty for you to watch. Um, Somebody actually contacted me with an older video and said, "Man, your technique has changed so much. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch." 604, I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining me. All right. Um, the Impressed with several things about this shave, um, and a couple of them were just learning experiences, that kind of thing. And there we go. Final tally on the water, I think, still remains at about 20 milliliters of water used to make the lather in the bowl here. A little bit more than a quarter teaspoon of soap used. And we made plenty of lather. Yeah, Michael, actually, it's over 1,000. I think it's 12 or 1,300 videos because I generally do one every day. Now, see, Michael, he does his videos and he would craft them and he would cut and edit them, and they're much more fun to watch than my videos. Mine are sometimes long and tedious. Mine are like marathon videos, right? And but I, on the other hand, just enjoy diary format. And just throwing them out there. And if people get stuff from them, then great. I don't have the time to edit them, and especially putting one out every day, usually. And so that's just a little bit of difference. Oh man, dude, Michael, I kind of saved the boar for last because I did a little workup lather, a little test lather, because I was dying to feel these tips, these experimental gel tips. And sure enough, they are much softer than a normal gel brush, a normal boar brush. And so I think I am just really going to enjoy the feel of this brush in all aspects. I think it's going to be wonderful. I kind of was saving the best for last in that case. Oh, thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. Hakime, man, that's very cool. I'm really happy about that. I'm glad your shaves are getting better and that my videos are helping some. That means a lot. Thank you, man. Now, you know what? I've actually had people remark about that. Um, uh, Background talk when you're doing stuff. I've had several people say that, where they just start the video going and they're working for the day, or it's just kind of background, and then that way, if you hear something interesting that you might want to tune in for, then it's there. You know, Uh, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with. To be honest, I didn't expect to have any subscribers when I started this 3, 4 years ago. I just expected to put up a repository of content that would be findable eventually. That I'd try a bunch of razors and a bunch of combination of blades and soaps so that maybe people would be able to find something that was relevant for them and that would help them out. I didn't expect regular watchers, so that's just been a kind of a side blessing. And Yeah, the long form videos also have a benefit of I'm not cutting out any of the lather making, and so a person who's having a struggle with their lather is going to see it from start to finish and not have any clipped out, and so they'll know, well, boy, that takes X amount of time to get to that point. And another thing we're looking at with this lather, it's not drying out, not at all. So this soap continues to impress me. I mean, it has reduced in hydration just a touch, but wonderful. This What a great soap base. All right, very cool, very cool. I have one more soap in my little run of weird smells but good performing. The Bulgari Man in Black, a hard puck from that company. And it's not a super performer, but I really like the way it smells. And it's that classic hard puck that I just somehow get drawn to. And then we'll move on to some other soaps. I can't wait to try Mountain Laurel from London Razors. Looking forward to that one as well here soon. Um, 604 says, okay. Well, but let me jump back. KG found me when looking for Williams lathers. Gotcha. And now he enjoys Williams quite a bit. Well, Williams is now. I think Michael Freedberg is not a Williams fan. It's I think he has decided it's just too much work, and so he's not, you're not going to get any love from his side of the world on that one. But good. I'm really glad you're enjoying the Williams. It is really slick. You know, Michael, I wouldn't be sad if all the Badgers died as well, and we could just use the boars. I do enjoy them too. Um, I was just talking the other day about how I wish my bore rotation of about a dozen brushes were smaller so that I could see them age into that awesomeness a little quicker. And I think I might do some kind of uh, acceleration thing, like maybe a cool breeze from a blow dryer to try to help those tips split a little quicker. Otherwise, I'll be retiring and these bore brushes still won't be in their prime yet. Michael's keeping quiet. He's holding his tongue about his passion for anti Williams. Hey, Michael, your bore brushes that you really love. How many uses? I'd love to hear. How many uses do you have on those approximately, and what brands are they? Um, I'd love to know that. You're really kind of young in a lot of my bores because I just have too many to put in a rotation. And then 604 said, how do you find boar versus badger? Oh, okay. Michael was kind of answering that question too. I've only ever used badger brushes, but I just ordered a boar and a few synthetics to try out. Curious to see. I really enjoy boar brushes. Now, there are some junk ones. 604, jump in there and tell me which boar you ordered. Um, One of the legit ones that's really popular is the Samog Owners Club, of course, from Samog. And it's got a big bloom. Usually, this one was traveling recently, and so it's kind of closed up. Um, but yeah, I really enjoy the boars as well. Now, if I had to pick, I'd probably pick Badger, the nice soft Badgers that I have. But I really do. I wouldn't be sad if I only had to use boars. See, and I'm kind of in the camp with Michael. Just use them, you know, just use them every day and until they get to a good place. But I've just got so many that I can't do that. Um, okay, and Akime likes the boars a little bit more than the synthetics. Yeah. Okay, now KG likes his Pro 49, but he rightly says you got to choke up on that and and grab it restricted a little bit on the bristles too, because it's a long lofted brush and it'll be too long and floppy if you don't reach up like the Italian barbers do. And I don't know what grip they use. I don't know if you kind of do a grip like this, or um, I really should do it with a longer knot. Let's do that. If you do it with kind of a side grip like this, maybe anything works. Or if you kind of, do it like that. I don't know exactly what the best way to do it is. But with that such a long loft, you really need to do that. Oh, I'm a big fan of the Zenith. Yeah, that B3. Big fan of the Zeniths. Yeah, yeah. The only problem is you've got too many bores. Just takes a long time. Oh, okay. The Yaki Green Viper. Okay. Well, I got a DS Cosmetics bore brush, and it wasn't a great knot. I don't know how about the Yaki bore brushes yet. Um, the good news is that even cheap bore brushes, um, the goal here, 604, just to give you some information, when you first get a bore brush, and I don't believe you've received yours yet, and this is going to be a tip for you. When you first get a bore brush, it's gonna likely eat lather. You'll be mixing up your lather and stuff, have it in your brush. You go to put it on your face and then it'll die. You won't even have enough lather for the next pass. And don't be surprised if you have to go back to the tub and reload before every pass. Now, with most of the brushes I've got, you only have to do that for maybe 2 weeks before the brush opens up, that kind of thing, and it stops eating the lather. So there's a little bit of warning for you. I was very disappointed with my first bore brush that did that. That's a normal part of the brush cycle when you're a bore knot. And the good news is, even the cheaper bores will still split. Now, the other thing that you're looking for a bore brush to do, first thing is, with more uses, it'll start to kind of splay like that, and you want that. Generally, people do. The other thing is, can I find some? Uh, you'll see the tips. They'll start to split. And when that one tip turns into 3 or 5 tips, you've now got a softer brush. And some brushes may take 300 uses to get maximum splittage from all the tips. But with the Simogs, with the Zenith brushes, I found that it only takes a couple of weeks of using them, a couple of weeks of uses before they're comfortable, enjoyable, while you wait for the rest of the tips to split fully. That's been my experience. Now, the Omegas, for me, take longer. And the Sterling bore brush, whew, that's one that's taken a very long time. It's being very stubborn. Ah, see, okay. So Michael has the Omega Pro. That's kind of like the 49 that was mentioned by KG. He's got that the rod knee handle. I bet that's cool. And he's put a lot of uses in there. I've heard so many people talk about Omegas being great, but it just takes a while to get there. It takes a while. Yeah, Hakime, there is a challenge of breaking in the brush, and I think you get a relationship with your brush as you watch it change, as you work through the toddler years where it's killing the lathers, that sort of thing, and you feel it change over time. It's an investment, and there's this little bond there between a guy and his bore brush. It's weird, nerdy, and strange that we're talking about it on the internet right now, but it's true. It is very, and it's very interesting to watch. And I love that these amazing bore brushes, like in Simogue's case, Zenith, and Omega, they all have options where the brush is like 15 bucks and it can be a great brush. All you have to do is use it. I think that's wonderful. You can get this awesome soft experience. You just have to work it and use it. You put in that time and you're rewarded for just 15 bucks. You have a lifetime bore brush. Wonderful. KG says it like splay, yeah, splaying on a cloud. Uh huh. So soft once broken in. Roger that. And Michael, yeah, it's kind of the sentiment I was talking about earlier. It wouldn't be too much of a stretch never to use a Badgr again. Once you've used a bore brush that's in that prime zone, yeah, I could see that totally. And I've heard that said by so many people. Yeah, glad to provide some information there for you, 604. That's one of the non-intuitive things that that sometimes people don't know when they break in a bore brush. It's normal. Just keep using it. Yeah, glad to help. Well said, Hakime. Well said. Once it breaks in, then it starts rewarding you. That's exactly right. Now my bore brushes are all around the corner here. Yeah, I don't really need to. I don't really need to break them out. Badgers change a little bit, but yeah, nothing like bore brushes. They really do evolve and mature in big ways. Yeah, yeah, and synthetics definitely don't. The only thing they do is get worse. If you press them too hard, they'll get that donut in the middle, But that's not maturing. That's going downhill. But yeah, yeah, well said. That's exactly right. Very cool. All right, guys, we will wrap this up. If anybody has any final questions, you can post those while I'm kind of uh, cleaning up stuff. Oh, hey, by the way, Sterling said that they are, and I've mentioned this before on my channel, Port-au-Prince scent might be going away. Probably is going away. I think on the clearance page, he's already sold all the Port-au-Prince soap. That's a vetiver and lemongrass soap. But I think there may have been a few more products there, maybe the EDP or something like that. It might be something that's not coming back. The Glastonbury, though, is coming back. He just put it on the clearance for a little while. He's not ending the mutton tallow based soaps yet. But if the mutton tallow prices keep climbing like they have been, he might be forced to turn off that base, discontinue it because it's no longer a budget base anymore. Um, so there's a little warning there for you mutton tallow and sterling lovers. Yeah, KG, thank you so much. Thank you for joining. Michael, man, it's been awesome. Thank you for your generosity and cool stuff. And maybe tomorrow we'll do, I think we'll do this, we might do this magical combo of the injector from Supply and this great looking bore brush here. That might be the magic for tomorrow. Very cool. Take care, guys. Good night. Thank you, Akime. I thought it was great as well. I continually just enjoy these things so much. Hey, Michael, if you're still around, what do you think? Do you think I should start with the medium setting um, on this supply, the base plate there? Should I start with the medium one? If you're still there and have some advice, I'd love to hear it. All right, my friends, we're going to shut her on down. Um, really appreciate you guys tuning in and wonderful discoveries today. A large part due to the generosity of wonderful folks like Michael Freedberg and Alex was the one who gave me the MSC products, and I waited around for various reasons to try this guy. And man, if I'd have known how good he was going to be, I might have put him ahead of the line. Very nice soap base. Very cool. Take care, everyone. Have a good night. This is me out. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Hope there's been something good in here for you. Take care.